Welcome to Around the Board, a show where four board game enthusiasts discuss board game topics and news. Today's show starts with another great game debate, this time about Power Grid. Following that, we'll squirt lemon in our eyes, then promptly move on to a game we call Board Game Parody. Rounding out the show, we beg the question, should you basic? I don't know what that means, but we're going to find out. Here are your hosts, Daniel Connors, John Theismann, Chris Thomason, and yours truly, Andy Barnett. Now join us, won't you, as we go around the board. Hello, gentlemen.
What is up, fellas?
Well, it sounds like we finally got our contestant picked for our Santa's Workshop winner. You're going to have to stay for the commercial break to find that out, of course. And I'm sure so many of you guys are tuning in just to figure out who that winner is. But there's timestamps down below, so I guess you can jump ahead. But don't, because we're great. We're awesome. I mean, I'm maybe more awesome than the others, but it's still worth watching, I promise you.
You can let the excitement build.
I feel like you just gave away a cheat code to everybody. Because, while you're right, there are timestamps down there. Not everybody knew that necessarily.
I think they do, Andy. I think it's just you. I think you're the last person that isn't on YouTube.
What is YouTube again?
Yeah, exactly. I
thought I was just on the boob tube still. That's what they called it. That is not something. That is not. You looked at me like I said something inappropriate, and I did not. It is because of the shape of the old televisions. It was in the shape of a.
So I think it's because it turned you into a dummy. That's why they call
that's what it was.
Hold on. We're doing. Why do they call it the boob tube?
This is riveting television.
It is
an allusion to the idiocy of television.
Thank you.
Programming. You're right. Yes. It has nothing to do with the shape.
No, nothing to do with it.
What do you know?
You're so stupid.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, what else is going on? We got a winner to give away. We got lots of stuff to do.
Holidays. We had holidays.
Let's just get to it.
Let's just get to it.
Just do it. What do they say?
They say get to it.
What do they?
Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Time to play the game.
I'd heard that drop all year.
Time to play the game.
Oh yes, it's time to play the game. Let's get it on. Around the Board is all about debating different topics within tabletop gaming in 4 unique segments, each hosted by one of us. A behind-the-scenes judge will award points at the end of the show. The contestant with the most points will be given 2 minutes to prattle on from their soap throne about whatever they like. Now, it's time to play the game. Round 1. Fight! All right, you guys set me up for this one, and I don't like it. That's right. They set me. Seriously, the problem is, and I'm just giving you a little insider information here. This is something that you normally wouldn't know, but behind the scenes, we have planning meetings. Guess who never shows up to the planning meetings? Hardly.
I wonder.
This idiot.
That green square.
So because of that, I get assigned things, and so this time we assigned the Great Game Debate, and they purposely picked a game that I have a shady past with, and that would be Power Grid. So Power Grid, it's from Friedemann Friese. It's a classic game. It's been around for a long time. Daniel, why don't you tell the folks at home how to play Power Grid?
Power Grid is played over multiple rounds. Each round has 5 different phases. The game will eventually end when someone has built enough power plants to trigger the end game. Then whoever is powering the most power plants at the time will win the game. As mentioned, this game will play over several rounds broken up into 5 different phases. The first phase is determine player order. That's important for this game because that's going to depend on when you get to build first and when you get to buy resources first. So essentially most things are done in reverse player order. So if you're winning the game, you're actually going to buy last and build last, giving the people behind an opportunity to catch up. Once player order is determined, we're going to go to the auction phase. Starting with the player in the lead, they have to put up a building up for auction. It has to be in the first row, not from the futures market. So they will put up this one, and the minimum bid has to be the number on there. So the minimum bid for this one would be 3. We go around the table, bidding 1 up, 1 up, 1 up, and then you can pass if you won and you're out of that bidding round, or you can continue to go raise the price. Once everybody is passed, the last person to make the bid will get that. Then we're going to shift the market up and replace it with the lowest market, and then draw another card from the deck. In this case, we would actually put the 7 there, and the 8 would stay in the futures market. After each player has either passed or bought a power plant, we'll move to the next round, which is buying resources. Starting with the person who is trailing, they will get to buy the resources first. It is a great move to actually buy first because the resources only get more expensive as they become more scarce. Each power plant can only hold a certain amount of resources. You can do double of what's printed on the card. So this card could hold 4 coal, nothing, no more than that, and no different resources. You can only buy the resources that you can actually fit on a power plant. Once resources are purchased, then in reverse order, you get to build buildings. So in this case, red is trailing, so he'd be the first one to build. When you build, you have to pay, if you're in the first age, you have to pay 10 currency to place in the city first, and then you have to pay any transaction costs. So this purchase would be 16 because there's a transition of 6 and a building of 10. Now, no one else can build in these cities until the second phase, and then on the third phase, the third person can build into the city. Once everybody has built, we then go to bureaucracy phase where we get money based on the number of houses we have that we can power. If I have 5 houses but can only power 3, I'm only going to get paid out for 3 of those houses. What's interesting about the bureaucracy phase is that the first houses will give you a lot of money, but the more houses you put on there, your return actually lessens. So you don't want to get too big too fast, or else you might actually spend more money than you actually make. But you always have to balance that with, obviously, you want to be the one with the most houses. Well, we're going to do this for round after round, and after so many rounds, when somebody passes the threshold, which is based on the number of players, the game will end, and whoever can power the most houses at that point is the winner of Power Grid.
All right, Daniel. Well, thank you for that. So 2 to 6 players, 120 minutes, Friedemann Friese. I got to tell you guys, board game PTSD is real. It is absolutely legit. It is not a fake thing. And I have it with this game. Now, my brother, God bless my brother. He'll never watch this show, so I can talk trash on him. He's a CPA. He's a math guy. And he also has an attitude that's worse than mine, which is saying something. We played this game several times, and here's the thing. If I have somehow, there's an auction mechanic to this game, and so with an auction mechanic, being a person of persuasion that I am, I sometimes try and tilt things a certain way. So if there's somebody else that's playing that maybe doesn't know what's going on, I try and, hey, you want to bid on that one? That one's pretty good. And anyway, I did this in such a way, I was so good at it, it was masterful at my diplomacy, that it screwed my brother, and my brother could tell with several turns to go that there's no way he was going to win because he did all the math in his head. And he was pissed, and he was like, I'm not going to finish the game. I was like, well, what are you not going to finish the game? And he's like, well, I'm not going to win. Why would I finish the game? And so anyway, there's some board game PTSD with this game a little bit. Real problem, honestly, though, with this one for me is that I do feel it is a little bit mathy. It also is not the best looking on the board, on the table. I'm not a big fan of the art. But it's a problem with a lot of Friedemann Friese games. Factory Manager is another game I just want to throw up thinking about it because it's all math, it seems like. I'm not a fan of the game. There's better auction games out there. I'm not a Friedemann Friese guy. I hate to say it, but anyway, that's what I have to say about Power Grid. So is it a great game? No. No, it's not. Daniel?
I got to counter something, Andy. You said that the art is ugly. I'm just going to show this board here. This is beautiful. With the buildings on it, it really pops. You have the resources that go here. This is an attractive board. I have no idea why you think that there's nothing appealing about this.
Now, to be fair,
what do you guys think?
To be fair, I have been criticized in the past.
I'll hold my opinion for my time.
I've been criticized by Chris in the past because I've only played on the North American map, the United States map. So that may be why I'm a little bit jaded against this game.
So no.
You think America's ugly? That's what
yes,
I
that's
do.
What he thinks.
That's right. I'm so anti-American. Anyway.
All right.
It's by far the worst board. But wait, before we go on, there is something I need to point out here. Okay. So yes, I mean, like, it's funny that Daniel actually thinks that the board's pretty. I mean, I wouldn't defend someone that says it's ugly, but I think it's interesting. He likes it, but whatever. But Andy, there is a key part of this story that you have never told the people or us. You did not include the detail that you had sold him diplomatically on buying a power plant that he shouldn't have.
It wasn't him.
This is a you problem. You caused this problem. You made him make a bad play, and then he decided, well, screw you. I'm going to quit the game because you screwed me over. That's actually what happened here.
The worst part, it wasn't him. I talked into it. He knows the game, okay? So I couldn't have talked him into it. It was my dad that was playing with us, who's in his 70s.
Gosh.
Wow, Andy. Wow.
No wonder.
You know, Chris is right.
Yeah.
You have never told us that part, Andy.
Yeah, that detail was key that we've never heard.
Minor detail.
What's crazy about that is you're the one that's like, no table talk, don't tell other people's strategy. You're the one that gets all butthurt about that. So that's shocking. I don't blame him. I'd walk away.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Daniel, what do you think about Power Grid?
Well, let me tell you about Power Grid. I feel it is one of the best games that have ever been made. It was a slow burn for me to enjoy this game. Right away, I really enjoyed it. I have to talk about the cover art because it was one of the first games I played when I got into the hobby. And the people told me, "Hey, you got to play this game. It's great, but the art on it is pretty like ugly." And like, who would want to play this game? It's a guy looking at a power grid. And I'm like, that looks incredibly interesting to me. I really want to play this game, but I didn't want to say anything because I was still too new. So power grid, it appeals to me from the very beginning. And the more I play it, the more I truly enjoy this game. The auction of the game is kind of one of the best in that genre, I believe. Some of the problems with auction games is you never know how much stuff is valued, but with Power Grid, you know how much money you need to actually power your cities. So when you make when you're doing the auction, you can know how much you can spend. And yes, can someone outbid you on a power plant you really need? Yes, but you need to know when to stop. And I love that tension of that game. I also love, actually, when I played it recently, Chris and our friends, the Evans, they did not remind me, because it was such a long time to play, that you could block people's path. So I thought I blocked off a nice little wall, but then they like shot right past me because they just paid the transition cost. And I was like, wait a second. And I was a little upset about it, but that was okay because I actually ended up winning. That's a whole nother story. But I like that minimal, like you can you can't block people. And at first I was mad, but I actually ended up liking that. I like the openness of the map. And then there's also this. I haven't got to play this yet, but I am incredibly excited to play this. This makes the game kind of a campaign game, changes the rules ever so slightly. Power Grid's great, guys. If you haven't played it and you like any kind of Euro games, you have to try this one. It's a great economic auction game.
They say great minds think alike, but clearly not. Or wait. Oh, wait.
Maybe only one of them's a great mind.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Ooh.
Oh,
Mine's
wait a minute.
beautiful.
Oh, burn. See, were you being sarcastic about the box art? I couldn't tell if you were being sarcastic.
He loves that
one
art.
Of the greatest stories because
you're like, oh, I really want to play this, and I'm like, are you joking?
No, I'm not. I don't know why. I will admit, I'm the last person to expect to like something like this. But when I was brand new to the hobby, I saw this. I was like, what is that about? I want to run a power grid. I want to control the energy of a nation. Like, that sounds so exciting. And I was like, I want to be this dude, with his knobs, the knob guy. That was me.
That doesn't make any sense to Marvel superhero Daniel. That makes no sense whatsoever. But
I know. I'm an enigma.
And the box shape is off. You think that would bother you?
All right, are you done?
I wish it was different, but it's fine. It sits on the very top of my shelf. So
yeah, now you're getting into my territory. So
the box shape only bothers simple minds.
John, what do you think?
Okay, so first of all, I'm going to cut to the chase that it is not a great game. It's not. It's a classic old game that people that haven't played many games might enjoy, but there's many reasons why I say that. Number one is you hit on it, the box, it's ugly and it's shaped weird. It's not going to look good on your shelf. Number two, though, just thematically, from a thematic standpoint, okay, I'm in the United States. I'm building cities so that I can then run energy to them. And I'm building Boston, but then someone else will build Boston again, and then somebody else will build Boston again. It's Boston. It says Boston right there. Anyway, that just is weird. But then beyond all that, I don't see how. I've heard people playing these games for hours on end, and I don't see how. We played a 6-player game where most of the people had never played it, and it was a 2-hour game with the teach. However, that was the good thing about it. It doesn't get old, but it should be called Power Grind, not Power Grid, because the game is a grind. It's okay. I'm going to do this again, and we're going through the whole session again, and I'm going to do it again. Then we're going to go through the whole session again, and I'm going to do it again. And basically, if you find yourself in last place, like this kid did, because I'm last person to pick where to put my starting point, so all the good spots were gone, and then I missed one chance to cut somebody off. So there went the game. They were going to win, and we knew that 3 turns in, but. Because if they know what they're doing, there's no way you're going to catch them. If you're trying to catch somebody that knows how to play the game, then your brother's right. The game is over. You may as well not play anymore. You're playing for 3rd, 4th, 5th place, what have you. And really, I don't know if who was in what place changed much the time we played. It was 1st through 6th, pretty much every round. So, but that being said, some people that played that were casual gamers really enjoyed it. They had never played it before, and they thought it was really fun. Didn't mind that they never had a chance to win, but with me, I'd like to have a chance to win, and I'd have a chance to at least do something. Are you supposed to table talk in this game? Is that what you're supposed to do? Because when we just said you're not supposed to do that, but I mean, it seems like that's what you have to do. If somebody is in first place, you almost have to do something and gang up on them in some way, shape, or form. But you're limited. That person's way over in Oregon. They can't do anything to stop them. John, so what I tried to do was buy a bunch of the resources, so everybody would have to buy them more expensively. Didn't help because they had so much. Here's the big flaw. They had so much money, it didn't matter. But
I spent the first 30 episodes. The first 30 episodes around the board booing you, but my friend.
Oh, there we go. Thank you.
This is for you.
Here's what I would change in the game. When you at the beginning of the game, when you get money for powered cities, correct? You get that much money for your income, and it starts out as like 10 for each one, and it goes down to like at the end it'll be like 2 if you have a whole bunch of them. That should be reversed, in my opinion. Because that's such a huge advantage at the beginning. Somebody has 2 more cities than you, 3 turns in. I don't care how much that's going for. I'll take the nuclear power plant. I'll take that. I'm like, well, if I take that, I can't afford anything to power my plant. So yeah, you're going to take it. That seems to be the way the game is early on. Maybe I'm wrong, but that was the way it was with us. The rich got richer. The poor sat there and waited to finish in 5th or 6th.
And I agree completely. I didn't get to that point, but that is absolutely true. I feel like if you're ahead if you're a couple turns in and someone's ahead, there's no catch-up mechanic. There's nothing. You're just screwed. And you said, by the way, they can't block people, Daniel. They can block them. It's just, in essence, they're blocking them economically because it costs so much to go beyond the section to the other section. So there is a block.
To industry. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, it doesn't make a good board game.
I see why Chris likes this game, though.
But yeah, okay.
I'd rather die of the black lung.
I think I'm getting the black lung, Bob.
There is a point that I forgot to make that, John, you kept hitting, but in the wrong direction. This game is super clever in the fact that if you are in first the whole game, you will likely lose. It is a game that you are trying to position yourself to be in 2nd or 3rd and shoot up to 1st at the right moment. So, John, the fact that somebody ran away with it tells you how bad you guys must have played, because that is not how Power Grid plays.
Right. So wait, are you saying it's a racing game? Sounds like you're drafting.
Race the second.
Hey, Chris, bring us home with how glorious this game is.
All right. So 2 things. First of all, you guys both played on America's map. There is nothing I am less American about than Power Grid and its map. You never play America. It is the worst map possibly of any game out there. Don't do it. Never play the side. Play the Germany side or one of the a million expansions. Don't play America. It's bad. With that said, this game, as many of you have been on the show, watched the show for a while, thank you for tuning in as always. And you already know that this is my number 1 game, and I didn't know it was my number 1 game until we started this show. Over time, it kind of came to me. I realized, started looking at everything, and I was like, you know what? This is my favorite game. This is a game that I'm realistically going to suggest as much as possible. You know, you got to try new games sometimes. I know. But anyways, I'm going to suggest this every single time. I'm never going to turn down a game. So based on BGG alone, it is a 10, straight 10. Like these morons are talking about, the problems with it are its features. This is the exact, like they were saying, these are bugs. These are features. These are features of the game. Yes, if you get out ahead, you have its self catch-up mechanic of how everything's in reverse order of buying the resources based on how many cities you have and everything like that. You can't. There are situations where you do have to block each other, and like not so much as table talk, but like there are times where someone has to fall on the grenade a bit of buying a power plant they don't want to make sure that the guy in the lead doesn't just run away with it. This is a game that is not. It's not an easy game the first play. You don't just set it up and things work. It's not just Earth where you just showered with points. Like you actually have to have like some agency and some brain power to play this game, and it gets better based on multiple plays because there's so much meta to this game. This is a game also, by the way, I led with the fact that it's my favorite game. I hated this game, by the way, for years because I came up with some just brilliant people and they just wrecked me. And I just could not wrap my mind around how to play the game, how to bridge the gap and stuff like that. It took me years and years. And then eventually I finally saw the light. And now I'm where I'm at. A long time ago, I decided I love the game. But it's not a family game. It's not a family game. It takes some brain power. I'm sorry that you two don't have it.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute here. Hey, just easing the tension, baby.
If you're not going to say anything, I'll go.
This is a highly divisive game. And here's the deal. So if I'm going to play a route building game, I would play so many other things than this. If I want to play an auction game, I would play so many other things than this. This just fails on so many levels. It's mediocre at best.
What I think this is like Chris's Catan. I mean, I was, broke my teeth. Is that what they call it? Cut my teeth on Catan. Didn't break my teeth on Catan. And Catan never gets old for me. Like I say, people point out the problems with it, and to me, they're features, just like Chris says, because I love the game and I'll still play it to this day. Love playing Catan. But I understand if you weren't raised that way on it, that, yeah, you're going to see the problems with it. You're going to say, heck with it, I'll do something else. I'm not going to play this. That's the way people that didn't, get raised on Power Grid are going to feel about Power Grid. I'm sorry. We're going to see the flaws as flaws, not as features.
I mean, I guess I can see that, but like I even agree. I can agree with the flaws that people have with Catan. I still can't see those flaws with Power Grid. It's just so good. But
I'd rather do the auction and stockpile. I'd rather do the route building in Hansa Teutonica.
I love both those games, and it's a no.
Yeah, this is the cleanest auction because you can only have 3 cards at any given time. So like even if you didn't get the one you want, kind of the next wave of the game, you will almost have first dibs because now somebody who got stuck in the middle age essentially and got like the best one, they're kind of stuck with that one and they can't get rid of it because they spent a lot on it, which then frees you up to take in that third age, like the better power plants. So it has a good cadence to it. You guys just don't know what you're doing. But I got to point out, Chris kind of gave me he kind of insulted me there. He said he played with brilliant people and hated the game, but lately he saw the genius in it
because he's playing with you.
As soon as I joined this group, I was like, "This game's great."
That's right. All right, guys. Well, this might be right up there with Keyflower as one of our most controversial games on the show. So, what do you think? Does Power Grid stand up over the test of time? Is it a great game? Tell us how you feel about the debate in the comments below. And thank you, as always, for liking and subscribing. Let's continue the program. Round 2. Fight!
All right, guys. It is time for... This is a game that I've talked about many times on the show. This is a game that I developed actually with my family one time at a lunch situation, and it's called Lemon in Your Eyes. It's where you get together and you. What?
Oh, did you get an orange?
Oranges.
Oh, orange. No. Well, that's a weird expansion. That's not very good. No. You want to go lemon in your eyes?
Wait, guys. Hold on.
What is that?
Wait, I'm getting a message from our producer, Randy.
Oh.
Glad to see you got my message. Here is your random task. It has come to my attention that Power Grid is not the only game spreading pollution all over the board game community. Find and identify the other industrial culprits.
Random task. Show them what you do.
It's a random task.
Here we go. I think I got a winner. Here. What in the heck are you doing, Daniel? Whew. That is not an industrial game, my friend.
Did you even go anywhere?
Oh, where is he?
What? I went and got my game.
Yeah,
This
whatever.
doesn't work if you don't actually get up from your
It was
seat.
my screensaver. Utah is watching all of you.
Oh,
I got
okay.
it. I got my
Who's
game.
Utah?
Nerd.
Who's Utah?
I think he means the Watcher.
The Watcher. The Watcher.
See, you're gonna have to. See, the problem is you have all these Marvel inside things, and now you've got these wrestling inside things. You're just leaving people like me who are, weird or maybe normal outside of it all. Anyway,
Yeah, I've never been told I was normal, so.
now there you go.
All right. Well, who's starting?
Well,
believe
I
it's
guess
Chris.
it's me. That's true. All right. Well, all right, guys. So I initially I was like, okay, I have to say this one technically, even though it's not exactly a thing. So we're talking about industrial games,
Correct.
and I went with this one because the railroad certainly was industrial, and it was a big part of the industrial, all that stuff, but it still didn't feel right. So I went with.
Oh, okay.
I mean, at least it did the pollution.
Correct. It got there. It created a lot of it. It allowed for a lot of industry. But I went with automobile.
Ah.
Now this is a classic, truly industrial. They're creating cars and stuff like that. What is the word? Man, a classic by Martin Wallace. Good Lord, I couldn't remember the word classic. I'm going to be a great influencer about board games. Anyway, so very true. But yeah, the box art tells you everything you need to know. You're just literally making cars. It's that bleak and awful as it looks, but then awful in a good way. You're gonna have a black heart, but you're gonna make lots of money. And this game has a lot of interesting mechanics about how the kind of time passes as you're playing it. So when you first start the game, whoever kind of builds the first car is gonna make kind of an older one, and there's 3 different types of cars, like I can't think of the word right now, but there's like economy and then like better and best. I can't think of the words, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. You have to train workers to actually go sell the cars, and there's an interesting mechanic of like kind of a not drafting, but like each putting your workers out, and you kind of go around in turn order, but you have a different. Man, I really am terrible at explaining this game right now. I don't even know what to tell you.
Sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, you sold me, Chris. I'm all in.
What can I say? I've never been a car salesman, but no, look it up. It's a fantastic Martin Wallace game. It was a game I actually tried to get a hold of for years and years and years. Recently found a couple years ago. Finally got that first play after it came out in 2009. I played it probably 10 years after its play, and it was fantastic first play. But I am that old man gamer, Martin Wallace guy anyway. So, but yeah, automobile is my industrial game.
So it's interesting because when you said there were interesting mechanics, and you're talking about a game about automobiles,
very good.
I thought of like some guy with like greasy hands and a bit of a gimp, and like, oh, that's an interesting mechanic. Right.
That's right. But, it probably is. What game did you get?
Well, okay. So I obviously picked not only one of the best games in existence, but probably the best industrial game as well. It just happens to be about industry, not on Earth, but on Mars. That is correct. This game is all about industry. That's what it is. You are playing as corporations and trying to make Mars habitable. And so you have different industries and corporations, and you use steel and titanium, and you use wind energy and different things, and you raise the temperature and increase the oxygen level and all the good things that happen in terraforming Mars, which it is just a fantastic game. And I know we've talked about it on the show before. It is one of my top 5 games. It remains there. I played it just recently again with my deluxe edition. I didn't want to bring that box in, by the way. It's huge. But yeah, it's not only one of the best games of all time, it is one of the best industry games of all time as well. And I dare you to argue with me about that. I dare any of you to. And don't even bring up Ares Expedition being better or any of that crap.
I guess we are going to argue then.
No. You need
Terraform Mars is fantastic, but Ares Expedition's like 90% and way
you
quicker.
need the full experience, baby. Go big or go home.
I've had the full experience many times.
Andy, I can't give you a hard time because I literally looked at Ares Expedition and I go, ooh, that's going to be mine. But I was like, nah, they're going to argue with me and no one's going to buy it.
Now, I will say, I haven't played the dice game yet. I want to try the dice game.
Yeah, it died on the vine, so I don't know how good that one is. But
like, it's not a thing. Well, it's not a thing.
No, it wasn't great. It was people kind of dismissed it right away. Like, there's hype, people got it, and it's done. It's over. Maybe it hasn't fulfilled. I just haven't heard about it. So maybe there's a chance it hasn't fulfilled on Kickstarter yet. I suppose that could be it.
But how are you going to be okay with the dice game if you don't like Ares Expedition? That doesn't make sense at all.
Well, I didn't say I liked the dice game. I just said I haven't tried it.
Gotcha.
I always try things before I criticize them.
Okay, sure.
That's actually not true at all.
Yeah, Daniel, that's a lie.
What is your favorite industry game?
All right. Well, the game I chose, now it doesn't meet the criteria of excessive pollution because this is an alternate reality where they discovered that the power of harnessing water was more effective. And that
Marvel United something.
Marvel United Barrage. No,
exactly.
Barrage. Now, this game is, look at this cover. If you didn't know you were building dams, you would say this is an industrial themed game.
Damn, that's a good game.
Industrial themed because you are channeling, you are like steampunk-esque, like philanthropists trying to develop these dam systems that are going to generate energy. And this is a really cool game. It's really aggressive. It's really meaty. You're literally trying to dictate how the water is going to flow down into your dam. And then you're literally trying to steal the damn water from people and divert it to them.
Whoa.
So there's just so much some like good damn action in here where it just really feels like I'm building dams. And it's just exciting. It has a really unique rondelle mechanism where you put your workers, like you never expend your workers, you actually put the workers who are working on the dam on the rondelle, and you're going to move that rondelle up every single turn, or if you have special abilities to move it up, and that's going to free your resources. So it kind of ties down whatever you have. But yeah, this game is just incredible. You can build some structures up high and you get a lot of the benefits early, but then somebody can come, or actually you can do it low. That's what it is. You do it low so you can get like all the water rushing down, but all somebody has to do is come up on top, build one up in front of you, and they steal all your water, and they can even divert the water as well. So this game, you just have to be on your toes. You have to be aggressive. You have to make sure no one else can, siphon your water, or if they do, that you have a backup plan as well. Great game, Barrage.
I've only played that game once, and it was not a good time, and I don't know why. It might be because I played it with you, Daniel, but it wasn't the best experience. It kind of, you know what it reminded me of is you ever go to like a science center or something like that, and you've got the like play area where the kids can like divert the water different area. It reminded me of that, only it gave me a headache.
Well, say this, it's not really a rondelle though. There is a little thing that turns, but it's more like a timing mechanism for you to get your resources back. You're not action selecting with it. So
I agree, or else this would have been my favorite rondelle game. Go. So, I get it.
But, well, to move on to me, mine is a little more approachable than Barrage, and it requires a lot less adult humor. So we'll get to mine is, I'm not going to be cussing through it, Andy. You look confused. I'm not going to be cussing through my game. But I actually, like Chris, I had a couple of them I was thinking of. Coal Baron was one of the ones that came to mind because that's a really good one. If you've never played that one, it's a really good worker placement game, and you're actually moving this elevator around and digging out tunnels and stuff. It's really cool. But the one I actually
worth having a few copies of.
What's that?
You do.
I hear it's worth having a few copies.
Yes, it is. It's worth.
That's an Easter egg for those of you that, yeah.
But the one I went with was Fantastic Factories, because I have never not had a great time playing Fantastic Factories. And it's one of those games where you're taking a little bit of time, taking a turn each to upgrade your engine. You're buying buildings, you're getting workers, and then boom, everybody just run your engine. You're rolling your dice. You're trying to get dice mitigation so you can run all these things that you've gotten that need a 4 or 5 or whatever. And you're trying to find the best way to maximize your dice. but it's so quick. It's like, okay, boom, that's what I can do. You're trying to build these widgets, and whoever builds the most widgets by the end of the game wins. And so the turns are quick, the decisions are crunchy. It's great. Fantastic Factories is a really good game. I don't know if you guys have played it or not. It's a blast. You ought to play it sometime.
Well,
do you build any dams in that game?
You don't. That's what I say. There's no cussing in this game.
No,
but
its biggest flaw is there's nowhere you can put a worker to get some damn bait.
There you go.
It's the biggest
I feel like
vacation
you're
there.
attacking my character, John. Every single thing I said was appropriate and in context. So take that, sir.
Oh, put your damn game back on the shelf.
Well, it's going to stay right here until Randy picks mine.
Fantastic Factories, I've only played it a couple of times, but actually it's on my trade shelf right now.
Ooh.
I actually have to disagree with you, and I don't know why.
What?
I can't say why. I'm thinking about it, like, yeah, you're describing it, and it's okay, but it's just not. It just didn't make me want to play it again ever.
You would probably like the expansion because the expansion has take that stuff in it where you can do stuff to each other.
Well,
that's
now
why I
we're
haven't
talking.
gotten the expansion. I was like, I don't think it needs that, but you
Now
might
we're
think
talking.
it needs that.
Okay. Well,
all right. Well, that was our 4 games. So now Randy, he has to decide which one of us is going to take home the prize. He's going to pick
third place goes to who?
Third place gets 1, second place gets 2, and first place gets 3. So third place is going to be
Third place, John.
That gives me a lot of hope. Oh, I got to hold up my game.
Unbelievable.
I'm pretty worried.
Second place, Chris.
Whoa!
I'm going to be honest. I'm glad that Randy clearly likes this game because it had nothing to do with my explanation. That's for sure. That was like the worst explanation of all time. That was bad.
There's no way I lose this to Andy, right?
I am nervous about this one.
First place, Andy.
Oh my gosh!
Me!
You've got to be kidding me.
Take that!
Garage is one of the best games out there, Randy. This is ridiculous. Don't throw up the red screen on me.
Oh my
You
god!
have to explain yourself. This game, it harnesses electricity. It is the core of the Industrial Revolution. To get 0 points for that is absurd, sir. Absurd.
You should have just went with Marvel Legendary.
We can't hear you on Mars. We can't hear you whining on Mars.
There you go.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so far for joining us on the program. Tell us what you think. What's your favorite industrial game? And I think we got something to announce here right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Was wrong.
All right, guys, in episode 34, we had our friend of the show, Keith Ferguson, designer of Santa's Workshop, on, and he was generous enough to offer a copy of Santa's Workshop, one of the hottest games out during December, and I'm sure next December it's going to be just as hot and probably all the time in between too. But we asked for you to subscribe to our channel, send us an email asking to enter the contest, and we would enter you into the drawing. So we have picked a winner. We randomized the emails, we picked a number, and the winner today is going to be David Rank. Dave, thank you so much for sending your email. I do want to read it real quick because it was one of the nicest emails too. It says, I found your giveaway for Santa's Workshop and thought I would watch just part of the video about the giveaway, but happily watch the entire thing. I'm a new subscriber and will continue to tune into your YouTube show /podcast. Thanks for the giveaway and great show. So early in the show, I said, hey, you can skip right ahead to watch this to find out if you won. And it's because I wanted to read this email. Guys, go back and watch the show. It's great. Dave Rank thinks it's great. And he won a contest because he thought it was great. Actually, it wasn't because. It was just happenstance.
I was going to say, now both of you have done it. Just to clarify, both Chris and Daniel have said it's very nice of this gentleman. Compliment us on the show. It was totally random, okay, guys? It was totally random, I promise you. Boy Scouts honor.
Boy Scout. All right. Well, thank you guys, and hey, keep
thank
watching
you, Keith,
around
as
the
well.
board. We're gonna have more contests and more designers on the show. We're gonna have guests. It's a fantastic show. We have great hopes for the future. So keep watching us for your more chances to win and to be entertained.
Well, let's not go too far.
Okay, fair.
All right, well, now that we got that out of the way, we are excited to continue this show. Round 3, fight! This is Board Game Parody.
Yes, it's Board Game Parody, a new and original segment that's totally not Jeopardy. In this segment, the player who is currently in last place will go first and pick a category. We'll each buzz in if we think we know the correct response. We gain points if we get the question right, but we get it wrong, we lose those points instead. It's a lot like a game you might have seen on TV. Oh, since it's my segment, apparently I'll go first, is what I've heard from the producer behind the scenes. So let's see what the categories are. Instead of potent potables this time, we have board game slogans. We have Clue, maybe the movie, maybe the game, we'll see. We have random task and the show, which I assume is about our show, but maybe not. Maybe it's about another show. I guess we'll find out. But let's start with...
show called The Show?
I don't know. There's a game called The Game, so maybe there is a show
called Mr. Baseball. They call that The Show.
That is true. Maybe that's what it's
called
about.
Mr. Show. Do you remember Mr. Show?
All right.
Mr.
Let's
Show.
get into it and see what it's actually about.
Okay. I don't know. I like just talking about it.
Since everybody's confused, let's go to the show for one, please.
Stonemaier Games pairs you, a master city planner, with other city planners in this game. John.
I'm going to say, what is between two cities?
That is correct.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I think roads are between two cities. Just throwing that out there.
You can throw that somewhere.
Well, John, you get to pick again, right?
Yes. Yes, I do. Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. Let's stay with the show for two, please.
The show for two. Published in 2008, you are trying to save the economy by printing money in an auction game where you can bid as much as you want. Chris.
What is QE?
What is QE? Is correct.
Yeah, I hate that game. No, it's actually fine. I like it.
That game's from 2008?
I guess so.
I wish I could have.
I don't believe
it actually got republished by.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like
that game's actually great. It's like the most meta.
Allplay found it and republished it.
I was
the most meta play over and
this
over.
This is QE, but I didn't think there was any way it was from 2008. Anyway,
Chris, you have control of our board.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go. I got to find out what's going on with Clue. Clue for one. Clue for one.
Clue for one. Players guess these three things when making an accusation to solve the mystery. John.
What is, who did it, where did they do it, what room, and what weapon did they use?
That is
faster readers than
correct.
Thank you. Let's go back to the show for three, if we could, please, there, Alex.
This game, named after a country where colonial governors shipped goods back to England. Andy.
What is Keyflower?
What is Keyflower? That is incorrect.
Yes. I'm number two, right? Pretty sure I know this one.
Say it again. Daniel.
What is Puerto Rico?
Puerto Rico is correct.
Andy, I didn't buzz in because I was like, oh, Andy's got it. Anyone trying? I've never heard of the country named Keyflower.
No, me either. I was wondering that myself.
I had a brain fart.
Daniel, you have control of our board.
All right. I love me some random tasks. So let's start at the bottom. Random task for one, please.
Random task for one. This game features a board that is an exact replica of the floor plan of a real castle in Germany. Andy.
What is the Castles of Mad King Ludwig?
Castles of Mad King Ludwig is incorrect.
Don't you build your own castle on that game?
Chris, what do you got?
Okay. What is Castles of Burgundy? I don't know.
What is Castles of Burgundy is the correct answer.
Wow. Good job, Chris.
Got my castles mixed up.
Chris buzzed in. How about that?
I know, isn't that weird?
3 times now. I'm on a heater.
That's around the...
And you have control of our board.
Right, let's go back to Clue for 2. I lost it last time, but I got to know about Clue.
Clue for 2. These are the 6 murder weapons in the original game. John.
What is a revolver, a rope, a lead pipe, a candlestick, a knife, and poison?
That
Poison
is incorrect.
What?
Daniel.
All right. We got the revolver. We got the rope. We got the knife, the candlestick, the wrench.
Wrench.
It was the last one. You said it. Revolver,
Not gonna
knife,
say it for you.
candlestick, wrench, revolver, wrench. It's a wrench. Poison.
Partridge, pear tree.
That is incorrect. Andy.
Oh gosh. Okay. It is what is the wrench, the rope, the candlestick, the revolver, the knife, and poison.
That is incorrect.
Chris, you gonna do it?
No, sir.
They've all been
'cause I'm
mentioned.
running away with it.
Wow. Chris went up by
It's not poison
by
at
not
all.
playing.
What's the right answer?
What did we miss?
Well, it was the wrench instead of poison. I had them all right. I had like the deluxe edition. It had poison in it. That wasn't the
correct
original
answer is the rope, the revolver, the candlestick, the lead pipe, the knife, and the wrench.
Yeah.
A lead pipe.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, mine had poison. That threw me off. All right, I think Chris, I think you're still in charge.
Let's finish it out. Clue for 3, man.
Clue for 3. On the board, there are 2 secret passages, one connecting the kitchen to here, while the other connects the conservatory to here. Andy.
I know one.
I didn't mean to buzz in. But I'm going to say one anyway, I guess. What is the kitchen connects to the billiards room, and the conservatory connects to the torture room?
That is incorrect.
Oh, that's a
one's
shame.
the greenhouse. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I don't know what the other one is
I
though.
don't think there's what? There's not a greenhouse in the original game, is there?
Anyone else?
Can you get negative points on the show?
Not seen it yet. You might get there today.
I think I'm on my way.
I don't know if it'll show up, Andy, but we'll remember you have negative. So don't try to cheat the system here.
All right.
All right, with no one else buzzing in, the correct answer is the kitchen connects to the study,
I was going to say study.
and the conservatory connects to the lounge.
The lounge.
Lounge, it's
Okay.
not the
Chris, I think
greenhouse?
you're still
I
in
always thought it was the
charge.
greenhouse.
Is there a billiards room even?
There is a billiards room.
Oh, okay. And a torture chamber.
No.
No.
Not in the original
Only
game.
in your special copy that you rethemed.
Yeah, exactly.
50 Shades of Clue.
No.
There it is. There it is. All
That's
right, we're
Daniel's
going to go
copy.
with potent potables. I mean, board game slogans for 1.
Board game slogans for 1. This board game's slogan is the Mystery Face Game. John.
What is Guess Who?
What is Guess Who is the correct answer.
Of course it is.
It's a nice
Why don't we stay
band,
right
too.
there, Alex, for 2?
Potent potables, I mean board game slogans, for 2. This board game slogan is the game of medieval strategy and tactics. Daniel.
I believe that would be Stratego?
Stratego is incorrect.
Ooh. Didn't answer the question anyway, Daniel.
What is Stratego, you doof?
What is Risk?
Oh.
Risk is incorrect.
Really? I know I've heard this before.
Andy.
I didn't mean to buzz. What is Castle Panic?
Castle Panic is incorrect.
I'm going to not buzz.
I was in trouble when Daniel, you said Stratego because that's what I was going to say. I was like, I know it's not Risk because that's like medieval, that's like Civil War, but
it sounded right.
But I don't know what else to say.
I was really
thinking
Stratego and Risk. So.
I thought it was Stratego as well.
The correct answer is chess.
I was gonna say it as a joke. Wow.
Same here. I was gonna say. Oh.
All right. Let's stay with board game slogans for 3, please.
Board game slogans for 3. This board game slogan is the award-winning board game about medieval landscaping. Andy.
What
buzz in by accident again?
I don't know how to play this game. Landscaping? What is thou mowest money?
Oh.
Mow money is incorrect.
Gosh. Evil landscaping. Maybe that's the Castles of Mad King Ludwig.
Anyone else?
It might actually be.
No. What you got, Alex?
The correct answer is Carcassonne.
Oh, okay. Andy, you should have known that.
Should have known that.
Yeah.
All right. Random task for 2, please.
Random task for 2. This word is Swahili for build.
I know other Swahili because it don't be minutes to the South Central drinking juice in the hood. But
Andy.
Not Swahili for build.
I believe the correct term you're looking for is what is combobulate?
Combobulate.
What?
Is incorrect.
Andy's just trying to lose all his points.
Oh, he already did that.
He's way in the hole.
Oh.
We don't know.
Else?
What is it?
I don't think so.
Correct answer, Swahili for build, is Jenga.
Jenga.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Okay.
Why don't you give us the last one there, Alex?
Random task for 3.
Alien Double.
This game is considered to be the first of the 18XX genre.
I wonder who buzzed in.
Andy.
I believe that would be 1867.
1867 is incorrect.
You had a 1 in 100 chance of getting that correct.
Chris.
Yep.
What is 1829?
1829 is correct.
Wow.
No. I feel like that was just like, here you go, Chris. You can win the game now.
Pretty much.
He just wanted to make sure I buzzed in this time.
Yeah.
Well, that was riveting.
Well, that was Board Game Parody, which is not like any other game you've ever seen, and Andy played it like no player you've ever seen play any game. But let us know what you think about Parody, and how did you do playing
Wait a minute.
Playing those.
Wait a minute.
What?
What about Final Parody?
There is no Final Parody.
I wanted to gamble all my negative points away.
Yes, exactly. You couldn't gamble anything anyway. But anyway, well, let's move on to round 4.
Final round. Let's get it on.
That's new.
All right, guys. Well, today we're going to have a topic about the basic version of a game. Some games come with a 2 ways to play. Some they're like, hey, you know what? If you're just learning the game, play it this way. We took out like half the rules, and even an idiot can play this game. Or you can actually play it the way it was intended. So which way should you play it? And should these 2 rule sets even exist? I'm going to start with this, guys. I'm going to emphatically say no. Don't give me a basic rule set. This is the most absurd, asinine things I have ever seen in a board game. When I open up that board game and it says, hey, in case you're too dumb to actually play this game, try the simpler rule set. It's like, come on, don't offend us. Don't offend the casual gamer. People can understand rules, guys, and all you're actually doing is degrading your game. I want to talk about one game in particular. When I went to Origins the one time, I played a camel game, and it looked so cool. It was called
Camel
oh, dang it, Caravan. It was called Caravan.
Merv. Oh,
and
Caravan.
the basic version is you played with extra camels, and you were supposed to get your camels from one area to another, and you're supposed to pick stuff up. But then if you ran out of camels, you had to like potentially drop it, and somebody else could zoom in and get it. Well, the basic rules gave you so many camels, you never dropped stuff. It just happened. And then when something spawned on the board, you're like, I have so many camels on the board. It just spawned on top of my camel. I'm gonna pass it to the zone it needs to be in, and I just got points. It was the most ridiculous thing. And I kind of complained to the person that was teaching it, and they go, well, this is just the basic rules for conventions. And I'm like, well, you just lost a cell. Why are you teaching the dumb version of your game? Why is there a dumb version of your game? Now, I understand a tutorial, and that's completely different. A walkthrough, a how to play, that's acceptable. But other than that, get rid of the basic version. Also, player abilities are not basic and not basic. Sometimes they'll say, play the basic version by not having player abilities. Player abilities are stupid, and most games, unless it's cooperative or it's some other kind of game. So they say this is the advanced way to play. It's not the advanced way to play. It's the stupid way to play. Yeah, John, put that Game Snob up there, because anybody who, you guys know I'm right. This is ridiculous. Stop putting those rules in there. John, what you got?
Well, here, I'm kind of in the Andy conundrum here, where I find myself agreeing with you, and then you always go like 3 steps too far. And because, yeah, I don't have a problem with game designers making a basic version of a game. Okay. Everybody is not a game snob like you, Daniel, that has 18, more than that, 120 games. Maybe they haven't even opened yet. But, and so
I just bought 40 this weekend.
There we go. Exactly. So we just added to that. But,
so stupid!
But on the other hand, I've been tricked into playing that basic version. And I can name a few games here real quick, just right off the top of my head. Is Aquatica is one of those games that I learned it with the expansion. So it was like the expansion and like the advanced rules. But then when I bought my own, I didn't have the expansion yet. And I'm like, well, I can do the basic rules, for the first time playing it. Oh my word. If you play Aquatica with people that know how to play games and you play with the basic rules, the end game goals are so easy. And I didn't even realize that. So I wasn't even trying for all of them, but one of the players, that's what they were trying to do. And I swear it was 25 minutes in and boom, the game's over. I'm like, wait, what? You got all the goals already? That's one of the ways you trigger end game. And so to make it that simple with no warning, like, hey, unless you're 5, don't play this, that was kind of ridiculous. So you can't really play the basic version of that. The other one is this Pioneer Days, which both of these are very highly acclaimed games. And Pioneer Days, forever I was playing the basic version because I'm like, well, here, since you guys haven't played before, put your Pioneer on the basic side where we're all the same. And it's so much better when you flip it over and everybody's got different powers. I finally just said, heck with it. We're going to flip them over. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I've got a way I've got some direction now. I'm not just doing the same as everybody else. And so, yeah, is it, I'm not going to go so far as say never make one and they're stupid for making one, but definitely at a con where, you're playing with gamers. Yeah. You shouldn't be playing the basic version of something. You should be showing people what it can do. But yeah, it's not something that I'm really going to think twice before I play a basic version again. I'll say that.
Glad you agree with everything I said, John.
I know you do because you're a GameStop. Chris, what do you got, buddy?
Okay, well, I'm going to continue this conversation because we all know the truth. And I know I'm going to upset members of the industry and stuff like that. We know why you put these in the game. It's the same reason that you guys continuously tell me that the art matters, is because they are trying to sell a game. That is the reason at the conventions they use the basic rules, because not everyone at the convention are my people. The only people I want at my convention is my people, but there's a whole lot of people that ain't my people that are at the conventions, and they need the basic rules. So that's why they have them there, so they could teach them. Same thing like you guys talk about, like art. Well, you got to pull it off the shelf. I get it. They got to sell it, but that's the reason. They're there for selling the game. But you should never play them. And if you need them, you shouldn't be part of our community. Should pack it up right now.
That escalated quickly.
But no, really, like everything they said, both of them, it's like it's so night and day. Like obviously, I was being slightly hyperbolic, but like John said specifically, there's sometimes you play a game and you're like, okay, this is fine, but we're just playing with the normal, everyone's the same board, and then you flip it over and everyone's player powers, and it like drastically changes the game, right? And I know Daniel doesn't like them, and some people are like, well, you need to make a better game if you can't figure it out by just making player powers a thing. I guess I like it, but yeah, like the basic of any game should be the rules. There should be no advanced rules, something in the rules. Like if you want to do something like, for example, Oath is we found out recently is extremely kind of convoluted. It's not convoluted, but it's like Root. If you've played Root, you understand that it's a tough teach. There's a lot going on. It's hard to really understand. Oath's the same way in a different way. And so like the first couple, they're in the rule book, it actually kind of takes you through the motions, tells you exactly what to do on your turn for everyone the first round. I made a joke with Daniel. I was like, I'm not a big fan of the agency of this game. I feel like it's just telling me what to do. For situations like that, that's helpful. But actually having separate rules to like make it easier, don't do that. Just do the walk you through a turn so you can figure out how to play the game, and then have the advanced rules. Don't make us feel like we're children, please.
That's right.
And
I got to clarify something since
our resident child, what's up?
John countered something I said. I'm okay with player powers. Okay, let me rephrase this and but it has to be done correctly, and also like it can't be too extreme. The Age of Heroes is on my mind right now, and the player powers, they had two forms of player powers. They had cards that you played no matter what, and then you had player powers that give you extra points if you accomplish other goals. That's what I mean. When I played that basic version without the player powers, I was like, okay, whatever. I played with the advanced version with the player powers, and I was like, this isn't worse. This just made the game even worse. So like, player powers need to be balanced well, but that's not what our debate was. True. So I know I kind of got a tangent there, but sure. I kind of agree with you guys, but also it's very tenuous and it could break a game really easy. So you got to be careful.
This was Daniel's attempt.
I was trying to say.
Daniel made that point as an attempt to try and steal the win from Chris, but it's not going to happen. You can't earn points like that. So it's my turn. Be quiet. Listen, I'm going to differ with you guys actually somewhat significantly, and here's why. Because you're missing the whole point of this. The whole point is not whether it's okay to have a basic version and whether it's okay to play the basic version. Make the basic version good. That's the problem. So you're missing the point. You're missing the point entirely. You're using examples of games that have done bad basic versions, but there are good games that do a more basic version. For instance, well, actually, now that I come to think of it, most of the things that come to mind are bad examples of basic games. Specifically, the worst maybe offender of all time is Agricola. The family version of that is just terrible. And Stockpile, oh my gosh, Stockpile's terrible too, the basic version. But alas, I say, it does. So on Stockpile, if you turn the board over to the basic side, all the stocks move exactly the same.
Oh yes, I do.
They have no difference. It's so stupid. Anyway, where was I at? Yeah, there's got to be good basic versions out there, right? Root. There's a favorite game of Daniel's, right? So Root has player powers that are more basic. So it would recommend you play one of these powers before these powers because you're just learning the game, right?
You're still playing the full way that you play them, though.
Dune Imperium's the same way. Dune Imperium, you take a race that you're playing, and some have more complicated mechanics to them, right? So.
Yeah, but like
I Randy gave you some points. I don't care. That's all I wanted. Thank you.
How'd you get 5 points?
I got a lot.
5 points ain't bad. You know. That's
oh my gosh!
You got another
6
one.
now. And he's gonna win after all. Here.
Don't call it a comeback, baby.
Yeah.
You guys gotta remember, he was actually -6. He just broke even.
It's back to 0.
I'm just back to 0. Yeah. No. Actually, by and large, I guess I do agree with you guys. There's too many bad versions of basic games. But the problem is they really do need to make good versions because there is a point to having them because there are people that are new, believe it or not. There are people that come in and have never done a worker placement game. They've never done an auction game. They've never done these things. And we have to bring them into the hobby gently. So
you just do it with the ones that are already good.
Yeah. Yeah, and you don't have to change
good version.
My father-in-law actually went to someone's house once, and they ended up playing Power Grid. He's not a gamer. His friends weren't a gamer. And they were like, let's play Power Grid. And you know what? Everyone there understood how to play it because they're adults and they all have good minds.
Actually, it's because it's a crappy game. All right. Well,
all right. Well, guys, that was our discussion about the basic games versus the advanced. Let us know what you think. How wrong am I about hating the basic version of the games? Am I a game snob or am I right on point? I mean, treat us like adults, right? That's all I'm saying. If you want a kid's game, play Castle Panic Jr. Don't play Castle Panic, the base game. I don't know if there's a base game or not, but still, you know what I'm saying. And if you don't, ask for explanations in the comments, because we'll take them. So
have you played the
right.
advanced?
Well, that ends
advanced version
this
of War?
episode of Around the Board. So let's take a look at the leaderboard. It says Andy got 6, but we all know it's about like -3, maybe -4. We'll just say he's in the negatives. Let's just make it even there. All right. Then we have Daniel and John made a pretty decent comeback after a not great showing in Board Game Parody. But Chris blew us away with Board Game Parody. His knowledge of board games are untouched by anybody. So Chris, because of that, we yield the show to you. Take 2 minutes to talk about whatever you want, and hopefully it's something good.
All right, guys. This is something I want to talk to you about. I have a question. I have 2 questions that I've never understood. Okay. I'm going to start with the first one. Bicycles. Okay. Why is it illegal to ride them on the sidewalk? Like,
great question.
I understand if you want to try to think you're going to be part of the Tour de France and all the different stuff, you want to get in my way on the road and whatever, and with your 10-speed bicycle or whatever like that. I get it. But, like, you should be on the sidewalk, in my opinion, because you're disrupting traffic, but I can get behind, I can understand that. I can't understand how it's actually illegal to ride on the sidewalk. Like, where it's better for everyone, the rider safety and everything. It's one of the few laws that just literally I can't conceptualize how it is the way it is. It's as backwards as humanly possible. The other, I don't understand why it's illegal to steal signs in sports. I just hit my mic on accident. You have signs in the first place because you don't want the other team to know that you're running 37 blue. Like, so because if you say that out loud in the second half, they'll be like, oh, if he says 37 or blue, it's probably doing this, right? So you do the sign to conceal it. But if you try to figure out that, you're a terrible person. So I'm giving the next 20 to 30 seconds to you guys to try to answer and figure out these 2 like things. I mean, one's a little more prominent in our society than the other that just don't make any sense in my brain.
Well,
let me go first. The sign stealing thing. The sign stealing thing is one that I don't understand either, because I understand why the Astros got in trouble for using the camera. They're not even trying to hide the signs because there's nobody on second base, so they're just flashing exactly what they're going to pitch, and they're stealing those. If there's somebody on second base, they're flashing a series of signs because you're trying to steal them. Trying to steal signs is part of the game.
Correct.
But when you start using live video, I can see why that would not be allowed. But as way I understand it with Michigan, that isn't what they did, wasn't it? Wasn't it they just filmed the coaches on the sideline and tried to figure out what they were doing? If you're not using your signs enough, that's on you as far as I'm concerned. But
Daniel, why are they talking about sports ball?
Hey, it was my 2 minutes. I can talk about
the bicycle one. Listen to this. When I was 10 years old, Chris, I was riding my bike on the sidewalk because I was being safe and responsible. A cop literally pulled me over and said, kid, you need to get into the street to ride your bike. And I was like, wait, you're kidding, right? And they're like, no, you need to ride your bike in the road. So I was like, okay, after he told me it was against the law. So I rode my bike in the road. He pulled away, and I went right back to the sidewalk. I was like,
oh my goodness, unbelievable. Like, this is absolutely not staged, people. I did not know that story about Daniel. Like, that's crazy.
I was always taught by my parents to go ahead and ride on the sidewalk as well. But they said if you couldn't ride on the sidewalk, to ride in the road toward traffic.
That's right.
No, so that's how you walk.
And I'm not sure if they were trying to kill me or not, actually.
I think so.
But they told me to ride toward the traffic so that if a car started coming, I could just go and jump off into this.
That was my philosophy. That's what I did.
Oh gosh,
that's crazy. Well, I don't know.
All right.
I know that was a very huge diversion, not as much as like Andy and peanut butter or whatever that one time.
Oh, pretty equal.
But regardless, I had to have people understand my mind. If you know the answer to these, please let me know in comments. And honestly, if I can get a comment on this section, that's the best ever. So
for one, it means people watch to the end. So that'd be
correct. Nice. Exactly. They watch to the end and they're engaged. So please let me know your thoughts on that, guys.
A feat in and of itself.
Speaking of the end, let's close this thing out with some birthdays.
Well, John.
All right. Well,
what do you got?
Oh, am I doing the first one? I'll do the first one.
Sure are.
How about from 2018, a little game called Welcome To? A nice little verb and verb. You know, that's what we're calling them nowadays, where you do something to do something. And Welcome To is still one of the best ones. I still break that sucker out. We broke it out with the Christmas themed, winter themed stuff around Christmas time. So that was really cool. So yeah, Welcome To is always a fun game. 6 years old from 2018.
All right, and I have a game that is one of the OGs, and I'm going to realize that it's going to make me feel old every single year, because this game came out in 2002, the year I graduated high school. That's Puerto Rico, who's now 22 years old. Hey!
I feel dirty.
I can't believe that's 22 years ago. That's insane.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Well, I want to say happy birthday to one of my favorite games of all time, and that would be the classic from Stefan Feld, Castles of Burgundy, which turns 13 years old. Officially a teenager, was born on this month in 2011.
All right, and to me, I'm going to go to happy birthday to Sleeping Gods. It is Red Raven's pinnacle game. It was a masterpiece from all descriptions. I haven't played it yet myself, but I really hope to someday soon. It's a massive story game with a really unique battling system, but the story is apparently a sandbox as a game gets, but the story is also very linear as well. It actually tells a good story, unlike Gloomhaven, who's a little sandboxy, but then you're like, wait, what's going on? Apparently Sleeping Gods just hits on all the right cylinders, but that is in 3 years old, 2021. Happy birthday to Sleeping Gods.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us once again here on Around the Board. We're done with birthdays. Turn that off. Okay, thank you. All right. We want to make sure to remind you to tap and like and subscribe and all those things the kids are doing these days, because we would sure love to have you.
In the comments.
Official fan of the show here. You can write us a letter by post as well. I'll give you Daniel's address. What is your address again, Daniel? Oh, we're not going to do that. Okay.
NoneYourBusiness.com.
There you go. You can also join us on Facebook group Around the Board. Send us an email, mail at aroundtheboard.net. We will see you next time. Thank you and good night.
Daniel, why are you wearing mats like they're wrestling titles?
I know.
What the heck is going
on like they're wrestling belts.
Right?
All my legendary mats.
It's Fantastic Factories. I should have got a big lead after that game. That's an amazing game.
I really smoked the screen there for a second. That was awesome.
Hey, you did? What the heck, dude?
I'm acing them now. 37 episodes in. I should be good by now.
You would hope.
28.